Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. NBA season is finally upon us. We have a two-game slate opening night action for Tuesday. We have two marquee games. We have a rematch of the conference finals between the Nets and the Bucks, and then we have the Warriors squaring off against the new-look Lakers as the nightcap. We'll have a much bigger slate on Wednesday, but just a little taste of NBA action to get us started on Tuesday. NBA is my favorite DFS sport because it is a daily grind and it is super fun to watch and fun sweats as well. A couple of big wins have come already in NBA over the past few years, and hopefully we can have another great season, so I'm looking forward to it. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe. We'll have videos out every day. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video. It just helps the channel grow and reach more viewers. You can leave a comment if you want as well. Try to answer any questions you guys have. But NBA is always a fun sport because always going to have to make adjustments even after lock when guys are out. It's gotten a lot tougher over the years as people have adjusted, but there's still always an edge when a player gets ruled out 5 minutes before lock and not everybody has the time to switch to them or switch off of them. But anyways, let's get into the picks. If you want to join us for the NBA season, you can visit the website. We have daily, weekly season pass available, dfsprocess.net. Link is in the description. Follow on Twitter at the DFS Process for updates, especially later on the season when, actually even like next couple of weeks when guys start to get ruled out late. I'll try to post some pivots and updates there from the core plays. But with all that being said, let's get into the video. So we have a ton of time because it's only two games. We can go game by game or go team by team. I think we'll go position by position, but we'll kind of focus on each team in each position. So Steph Curry, he's $9,400. He's the most expensive point guard option on the slate. Some of these guys are shooting guard eligible as well, but Curry's only point guard eligible, and I think he's going to be one of the best plays on the slate to pay up for. Just looking at the other teams, Milwaukee, Giannis has still Chris Middleton and Jrue Holiday, so two solid players. LeBron has Davis, and now he has Russell Westbrook, who's going to take away a lot of usage, not just holding the ball, handling the ball, but also getting some rebounds, which will take away from Davis, and just overall soaking up a ton of shots and stuff like that. And then whereas Curry just has himself right now, even in Brooklyn, like Durant and Harden are going to feed off each other. Curry's the only superstar right now until Klay Thompson comes back. It's been that way for the last couple of years with Thompson out since Durant's been with the Nets. And Curry has just been super productive in this type of role. Going up against the Lakers here, they do not have KCP anymore. So they are probably going to have to put like Russell Westbrook on Curry. You might see some like Bazemore on Curry. But those guys are no match for Curry. He should be able to shoot. And he's going to have so much opportunity to just soak up a ton of usage. Plays a huge amount of minutes. And the assists, the rebounds are pretty solid for a guard. And even though Draymond takes away some of that stuff from him, but he's just going to shoot 20-plus shots, and we all know the bonuses that you get from the 3 points made. Just a really solid player. Obviously, don't have to say that, but just a really solid play on a slate, on a two-game slate at the point guard position. Yeah, Russell Westbrook is 86. He kind of struggled in the preseason a lot. He had a bunch of turnovers in some of these games. He's still been filling up the stat sheet, as you know, like 10 rebounds, 6 assists in just 28 minutes in one of the games. He's going to fill it up. Might not average a triple-double. This might be the one year that he doesn't because LeBron, Davis, they are going to get theirs no matter what. At $8,600, Westbrook looks like a good play, but I just want to see how he kind of fares in that team before I just play him. I want to see how the team kind of shakes out and what players, which of the big three kind of lose some of the production and which of the other ones don't, because we could see the price tags completely adjust on some of these guys. And James Harden is $9,300. I think he's going to be super popular because you can play him at shooting guard as well. His teammate Durant is $9,900. He looks good as well, but I think Harden will be more popular than Durant. He looks like a great play. I prefer Curry slightly, but Harden would come in second. Then I would prefer Westbrook. He's not on my radar on this first game. Jrue Holiday is $7,000. The Bucks are dealing with some injuries already. Dante DiVincenzo is still out from his injury at the end of the regular season last year, and Bobby Portis is out for this one. So looking at their roster at the point guard position, it's going to be Jrue Holiday, and you're going to get backup from minutes from George Hill. And then you have Grayson Allen, who's going to start at shooting guard. You still have Pat Connaughton to get some minutes there. But they are dealing with some injuries, so their rotation is a little bit thinner right now than it's going to be once those guys are healthy. Jordan Poole had a great preseason, and he's going to get rewarded with a lot more playing time, at least until Klay Thompson is back. So it looks like he's going to start at shooting guard, and I think that's a great sign. He's a great shooter. They do not have Kelly Oubre anymore, who's now on the Charlotte Hornets. That team is going to be fun. But Jordan Poole is going to take on some more scoring and some more shooting. Great counterpart to Curry, and just until Klay Thompson comes back. And then once he does, I think he'll take on like a six-man role off the bench. But we saw him fill it up in the preseason. He was one of the DFS players' favorite guys to roster because he was shooting a ton and he was very productive. So I gotta like Jordan Poole right now. If I pair these two teammates together, still leaves him at $6,000 left. This is gonna be kind of a stars and scrubs kind of slate when you have all these superstars on only a 2-game slate. So I gotta love Jordan Poole, especially that you can play him at shooting guard. And then other guys at point guard at the bottom here. I think Holiday looks like a fine option at $7,000. But at the bottom, you can have some backup minutes from Patty Mills from the Nets. He's going to have to play more than expected now that Kyrie is not in action right now. So Mills, 37, great. He was a solid role player for the Spurs in years past. He can light it up at some games, but with Harden and Durant, he's not going to have as much usage as he did last year with the Spurs. I probably like to get to, like, Poole is obviously going to be my favorites, but he's a lot more expensive than some of these bench guys. I think Hill looks fine. Hill, Mills, they're kind of similar. Rondo is 37. They see if Kendrick Nunn is going to play or not for the team. He probably will play. He took part in practice, so he's going to get some backup minutes. I think Rondo will get some minutes, but at this point, he's just kind of there for his veteran presence, and then, if somebody goes down for injury. Let's move on to the shooting guard position where Harden is the top dog. He's $9,300. He's the best play, especially with all these guys out. And the fact that at the point guard and shooting guard position, you only have three studs if you count Westbrook, Harden, and Curry. So you have 3 studs there. But then at small forward and power forward, you have Durant, LeBron, and Davis to kind of consider. So I think Harden will be super popular. Looking at the other shooting guard options are just not that appealing. Wiggins is $6,200. He is now going to play in every game after he wasn't going to play in half the games because he didn't get the vaccine. But he ended up getting it, and he's $6,200, not going to have to deal with Kelly Oubre taking away some of his production. He's going to be a good play on this type of slate, I think, at $6,200 if you're going a more balanced approach. But if you're going stars and scrubs, it is kind of tough to jam in some of these mid-range guys. But he would probably be like my second favorite shooting guard option, or probably my third favorite. I think Poole looks better just based on the value at saving $1,400. Then you have some of these Lakers guys. They're all going to play a little bit. Malik Monk, Ellington. Ellington expected to start at shooting guard. So he's just going to shoot threes. I don't think he's going to be that appealing on this slate. He's not my favorite player. I'd probably pay up a little bit for Connaughton or go down to some of these guys starting at the bottom, like Grayson Allen will start for the Bucks, and he was good in the preseason, and he was good at the end of last season for the Grizzlies. Even in the playoffs, he was starting, and he was productive just in terms of shooting threes, getting a couple of rebounds. And without Dante DiVincenzo, without Bobby Portis, there's minutes to go around for some of these role players. So I prefer getting to like Grayson Allen before I pay up for Ellington, or Malik Monk is also fine as off the bench. Moving on to small forward, it is LeBron and Durant. I like Durant more than LeBron. He's $1,000 more, $900 more expensive. But LeBron, I don't think they're going to push him too many minutes early on, at least. He's getting up there in age now, and the Lakers now have Russell Westbrook also is going to, like I mentioned, he's going to take a lot of usage and stuff like that. So they have 3 guys that are going to demand the ball, whereas Durant just has him and Harden. So in this one, with this game, both games I think are going to be high scoring and competitive, but I expect this Bucks game and the Nets game to be probably a little bit of a higher total game, and Durant and a little bit of a faster pace as well. I think Durant will get some more minutes than LeBron as well. Then you have Chris Middleton, Wiggins look like fine options here. Harris is 58. He's kind of expensive. I prefer getting to Wiggins instead. I think if you were going to go with anybody on the Brooklyn Nets at the position would be Durant. And then at the bottom here, you have Bruce Brown, who's only $3,600. He's going to start at shooting guard in place of Kyrie. So they're going to start, most likely they'll start Harden, Bruce Brown, Durant. They'll start Joe Harris, and then they'll start either Blake Griffin or LaMarcus Aldridge. But Bruce Brown, a starter, only $3,600. A great rebounder for the guard position. Can hit a couple shots. Overall, good defensive player. Can get some stocks there. Just too cheap. He's going to be popular, but tough for me not to like him when I'm going to be going stars and scrubs. So I like Bruce Brown. You also have Grayson Allen as a value option here. Then at the bottom, you have Kent Bazemore, who might start for the Lakers as well at small forward. He looks appealing. And then you have Carmelo Anthony's at power forward only, but he's $3,900. We'll get to him here. 39 for Carmelo. He's going to come off the bench most likely, but you could see some minutes closing out games if he is playing well. Did have a pretty decent preseason. We know he likes to shoot a lot. He did that, but I just want to see how they kind of fill out. Like, some of the studs on the Lakers are very expensive compared to that. We don't know how the role is going to shape out. Overall, like, Westbrook isn't super expensive. James isn't super expensive. Davis, but I think maybe going to all the way down to like Carmelo, saving some money. Even though he's not going to play as much, he's not going to have as much usage and as big of a role as those three. I think he could be a nice spark off the bench at 39. He's definitely on my radar on this slate. One guy on the Bucks that I think might get overlooked is Jordan Nwora. He had a huge preseason. He put up 30 in one game, and they are not going to have Bobby Portis. So I think until Portis comes back, you could see Jordan kind of soak up some of those minutes there. He was a second-round pick, 45th overall, I think, a couple years ago. He did play well. He's only 3K. If we get some sort of word that he's going to be in the rotation, which I do think because Semi Ojeleye is also out, 3,000, definitely a good value. But other guys at power forward, I'm going to get up to Giannis here. I prefer Giannis and Durant over LeBron and Davis, even though they are cheaper. Davis, we'll see if he plays some center minutes. They said they want to do that, and then they brought in DeAndre Jordan. They brought in Dwight Howard, so I still don't think he's going to get all of his minutes at the 5 like we initially hoped for. And then Draymond is $6,800. They said he's going to be a little bit on a slight minutes restriction. We don't know how much that will be. He's only 68. He does give you triple-double upside, fills up the stat sheet, so he could be worth it. But hopefully we get some sort of word if that's like low 30s or high 20s. Definitely going to make a big difference. But I would have some interest in Draymond. Blake Griffin is 54. I probably would get to like Aldridge, who's only 41 instead of getting to, or Aldridge is only 39 instead of getting a Blake Griffin. Both are veterans. Aldridge did start like 1 or 2 preseason games. I think whoever they start, they're still going to get like 20 minutes at least of Aldridge off the bench. And that is very appealing for a guy that we know can fill it up. He's just a veteran and can get you rebounds, can get you some putbacks and hit some layups. He was shooting a bunch of threes for the Spurs before he got traded, even though most of those weren't going in. And then at center here, you have like Giannis. You could play at center. You have Davis here. It's gonna be almost impossible to get to Davis with all the other studs. But I think this is a position that you can pay down here. You have at the bottom, you have Kevon Looney at 41. James Wiseman is out, so Looney will start at center. He's never a sexy player to roster for DFS, but he can get the job done. Gets you rebounds, gets you a couple of assists, maybe a block or two, some putbacks there, outside chance of getting a double-double. But, 10 rebounds at this price tag, 6 points, 1 assist, couple of blocks. That's like 25, 30 DraftKings points. That's going to be crushing at that price tag. So I like Kevon Looney at that price tag, Kevon Looney. I like Aldridge. And they also have Paul Millsap, so they have a bunch of veterans on here. They have Claxton, Aldridge, Millsap. They even brought in James Johnson. I like Aldridge more than Millsap. I like Aldridge more than Claxton, but then it would probably be Claxton and Millsap at the bottom. And Jordan might start for the Lakers. He'll probably start, but they still have Dwight Howard there. This could be what they did last year, where they just played like Gasol, like 2 rotations, and they played Davis at center some, and then they played the backup center as well. But I don't want to pay $5K for Dwight Howard on this slate, and I think probably going up to Brook Lopez would be another decent option if you wanted to do that. But those are the 6 players that I'm looking at right now heavily. We have 41 left, so you can plug in a bunch of value plays still. You have, just listing off all the guys that are below 40, like around the $4,000 range. You have Aldridge, Carmelo, Grayson Allen. You have Kent Bazemore, maybe James Johnson. And then at the bottom, you could look to Jordan Nwora if he gets some word that he's going to be in the rotation. So you have a bunch of guys to fill it out with. But right now, those are the 6 that I'm looking at. So that's it for DraftKings. Let's jump over to FanDuel. All right, on FanDuel here, one interesting thing you're going to notice right off the bat on FanDuel is that they have multi-position eligibility for these players now, which is something we haven't seen in FanDuel forever. So that's going to make things different for the season. But we got to work with what we have, so Curry, right now, point guard, Harden is the most expensive guy. Then you have Curry and Westbrook. Well, Curry and Westbrook are only separated by 300. So I got to lean to Westbrook over Westbrook. I got to lean to Curry over Westbrook, obviously. And then I think Curry looks better than Harden based on the price tag. At the bottom, you have Holiday's 85, so he might be tough to get to. But I like Jordan Poole at the bottom, maybe to put into your shooting guard spot. You also maybe could look to like George Hill as like just a pure punt play. There's not that many options. You have like Hill, you have Patty Mills, Poole, potentially Kendrick Nunn. But in terms of the studs, you might want to get to you definitely want to get to at least one stud, and that's going to be Curry for me. At shooting guard, you can play Westbrook, Harden, Drew Holiday. They're all shooting guard eligible for some reason. Middleton is shooting guard eligible. He's 78. But Bruce Brown is more expensive on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings, so he looks a little bit less appealing. But one guy that is just way too cheap is Joe Harris. He comes in at $4,300. DraftKings has him at $58. FanDuel has him at $43. He looks way better on FanDuel. He's going to get you good minutes as a starter. Can hit some threes. He's going to get a lot of looks now without Kyrie. At the bottom here, you have Grayson Allen. You have Pat Connaughton is also super affordable at $39. So shooting guard might be a position that you just pay down on FanDuel with like Harris, Grayson Allen or Harris, like Connaughton. I don't think I want to break the bank for Westbrook or Drew Holiday. I could go Harden here as well, but I want to pay up for like Giannis and Durant. I think Poole also makes sense here. Small forward, Bazemore is pretty expensive on FanDuel. He's 47, so I prefer Poole over Bazemore. Small forward, you have Giannis. He play him at power forward if you wanted to, but you have Giannis, Durant, LeBron. You want to get to at least one of those three, most likely two of those three between your small forward and power forward positions. Small forward isn't super deep because in the mid-range you have Carmelo is 5K, so he's kind of expensive. I like him on DraftKings more. Wiggins is 72. I think Middleton looks better than Wiggins. And then at the bottom, I don't want to pay 47 for Bazemore. I think Otto Porter looks better than he does on DraftKings, a lot better. He's only 44. He's going to get some good minutes off the bench, now without Kelly Oubre, until maybe he gets some extra minutes in place of Draymond, who's on not in place of, but just backing up with Draymond, who said he's going to be on a minutes limit. Connaughton makes sense at 39, so he's just way too cheap at that price tag. But I'm going to be able to get to some of these studs paying down. I'm going to get to Durant at 10.8. Power forward, Davis is 10K. You have $10,000 Davis, 10.5 LeBron. Giannis is 11K. I just want to get to I just want to get to Giannis and Durant scoring off against each other. I see them going back and forth this game. LeBron and Davis, I want to see how they play with Russell Westbrook before I kind of go all in on them. On FanDuel, it's a little bit easier to go with these guys. On DraftKings, you might want to go. I couldn't fault you for going like Davis over Durant or Giannis just based on the price tag. But personally, I'm just looking at Giannis and Durant more heavily on this slate. At the bottom, it is Otto Porter at 44. I like LaMarcus Aldridge. I like him at 41. Kevon Looney looks great personally at 39. Then at center, it's not a position that you have a ton of pay-up options. You only have Davis, which you could also play at power forward. It's a position that I think I'm going to pay down at. Draymond, it makes sense if you wanted to go his route at 7,000. But at the bottom, you have a couple of guys that are going to get good minutes. Dwight Howard is only 4,000. He's always productive in limited minutes. Kevon Looney is $3,900. Jordan will start. Might get some run at 4,000. Then Aldridge is also here. I could see him getting like 20-plus minutes off the bench or maybe starting at center. But I'm going Looney right now. In terms of just getting a safe option, he is probably the best there. They don't have Wiseman. They're going up against a big Lakers team that will get center minutes out of Howard, out of Jordan. You might see some Davis at center. So Davis and Howard on the floor together. They're going to need Looney size out there to just grab rebounds. So his minutes are going to be pretty secure, I would say, in this matchup. And that's about it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Kind of touched on all my favorite plays. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Best of luck on opening night, and I'll see you all back here on Wednesday.